Hi everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, we'll basically look at some data types in Java and how we can create variables with those data types. Now, as I had mentioned that this particular course is about how we can fast track our code development with the help of generative AI. So although I'll be you know showing you the code, how particular code can be written with respect to the syntax, but at the same time we'll also see how we can use better prompting techniques to get what we want and make use of ChatGPT to generate some boilerplate code. Okay, so if you're able to create a variable in Java, doesn't mean that you are a great developer. Okay, uh, if you're able to write a for loop, a very basic for loop doesn't mean that uh, it doesn't mean that you have accomplished the logic required to do that particular task. So as an engineer, so you have to take care of all the conditions, which becomes the most important aspect. But syntax is not something which even if you memorize the syntax, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, so it may help you in writing code without, let's say, any help, but uh, you know if you have things available on the internet, why not use that help available? And apart from internet, also now we have chat gpt, so why not use the chat gpt? So from time to time in this course, I'll be using chat gpt myself to generate the code snippets, the boilerplate code, which if you remember also, it's good. Even if you don't remember also, doesn't make much of a difference. Okay, and we'll see how with the help of ChatGPT we do coding faster. That is the main requirement nowadays, that and companies would want to uh, you know because they also know that you have ChatGPT at your disposal. So they would also understand that okay, a particular thing which was taking, let's say, 10 hours would now only take maybe 4 hours, 5 hours. I'm giving an example. I'm not telling that it is exactly going to half the time required, but it may it would create some difference to what was going on previously. Okay, so that is the basic idea. Not to I can keep on talking on this, but yeah, coming back to the point, let's come back to the data types in Java and see what ChatGPT offers for us in that regard. So I'll quickly go to my ChatGPT screen. What I'll simply say is that, so basically this course will also help you in understanding what is a good prompt, and how with the help of prompt itself you create good code snippets from ChatGPT, which you can very well use it in your code. And obviously you fine tune it with respect to your own requirements. Okay, it may not be totally you may not be able to use it as it is. Okay, so I'm simply going to tell. I'm sorry about making so many mistakes while typing. Actually, it's a new laptop I'm having, so it's just taking us a little bit more time, and a lot of things I'll explain you without a PPT. Why do you require a PPT when you have things at your disposal, on the technology side of it, which is ChatGPT? So, we will go through the answers of ChatGPT, you know, in the video, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this. You know what? After the advent of ChatGPT, my confidence in coding, in developing increased. I no longer have to post a very specific questions on Stack Overflow, which I used to do a lot before to get some specific answers. See, as a coder, you get stuck many a times, when you require answers in a particular situation where you are getting an error and you are just not able to uh, uh, proceed, yeah, even if you do a lot of debugging. So you just require some help, somebody who has done it in the past and who has spent more time in that error. He would have basically resolved that. So Stack Overflow was the place at that time. But now any error, you I mean, obviously, if ChatGPT is not able to solve that problem for you, you go to Stack Overflow. But it's like a one-on-one conversation you are having with an expert. Okay, so you would put that error with the context, and ChatGPT should help you. You know, so that's what I would do. So this course also helps you in understanding that, okay, now memorization of these syntaxes is not that much required. And if I know a particular technology, how things happen at the base level, I can just, you know, uh, uh, create those bridges with the help of the code which is given to me by ChatGPT. So I just need to know what are the steps, and the implementation part. You have ChatGPT as at your disposal, and obviously some experience in coding would help you in in architecting the application really well. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm a little bit uh, talking a lot here. So coming back to the data type, so we have byte data type. Range is -128 to 127, which means you have roughly 256 characters you can give for byte data type, and the size is 1 byte. Short, uh, this is the range. So for storing numbers between these two maximum minimum values, you can use short. Integer generally is 4 bytes of size. Long is 8 bytes. For creating a primary key in a table, generally I use int data type. You can also use long. So it's basically either of the two. Float is obviously for decimal point numbers. Double is it gives you a larger range with your decimal point numbers. So a double is an advanced version of float, I can say. And character is for representing one character, and the range is 0 to 65,535. Okay, and that is how you can create a character. And boolean is obviously to store a true or a false, uh, you know for your flagging. If you want to flag a variable like from 0 to 1, or true to false, false to true, something like that. So these are all the primitive data types. Okay, and then non-primitive data types. Coming to the non-primitive data types, you have the string, you have the arrays. Okay, you have class and objects, you have interface, and then the variable declaration. Okay, so let's not worry about class and objects right now. We will move to that in just a bit. This video is more about data types, so we can look at some non-primitive data types, that is arrays and strings. Okay, now uh, let me just, I think this is all very clear. Let's just quickly put all these variables here, just to you know and then we can print these variables out quickly. Okay, you have the int, then you have the long. Okay, then you have float, right? And then obviously you can basically declare a double, which I don't want to do because we already have a float. It's very much similar to float. Okay, so this is how generally you declare a variable. If you remove, so first starting point is the keyword, which is the data type. If you remove that keyword, you will basically get an error, cannot resolve that variable. Okay, so let me put that back. Okay, now let's see. Now coming back to this one. So short is this range, right? Let's say we exceed the range to this. Let's see what can happen. So it is telling that it is an integer and you have provided a short because I exceeded the limit. Here it will not give me that error. You understood? So if you go beyond that range, you have to go to the next data type or more advanced data type, or a data type which takes up more memory, because I'm moving towards higher memory, that's the idea. And then similarly, you can check this out for the integer also. You can basically take the minimum or the maximum value, add one to that, and then try it out. You will get an error, and then it will say that it is expecting a long and you gave an integer. Okay, something like that. Integer number is too large. Okay, so you make it long. You give a L here. To distinguish between float and double, you give an F. To distinguish between long and integer, you give an L. Okay, let's try to print this out. I'm also curious. What is it going to print? Okay, let's also print. And oh, sorry. So this is really going to be fun because I'm just not. I have not prepared a PPT for this lecture. Because I know things are available, and we need to make use of it. And that's the whole idea of me creating a course right now, so that you know how you can use ChatGPT to make learning easier for you and implementation part faster for you. Okay, let's go ahead and run this Java program, and let's see what we get in the terminal. Okay, so ultimately it's not that this became a string, that it will give you uh, you know L has got appended to the string. It is still a number. Just to differentiate between long and integer, you put an L here. And for a string, many of you would be knowing, you require the double quote to be there. Okay. String. Okay. So even single quote is not working. It gives you an error, right? This will work fine. Okay. That's how you declare a string as well. Okay. So as we saw, let's quickly print the string also, and it printed ABC. So similarly, if you print the Boolean variable, you will see a true, and so on and so forth. Okay, few things I would want you also to try. I would not want to spoon feed you, because I want you guys to also think. I would give you the structure, the skeleton, but then I want you to apply it with the help of technology available in terms of internet or ChatGPT, whatever, and use it to your advantage. Use it to code faster. Okay, so these are the different data types you have in Java. You have the primitive data types, which we saw, and then the non-primitive ones, which include uh, you know string, array, and classes and objects. So we'll take up array in another lecture. This was more about a basics of data types. Okay. Hope this was informative, and this course would also help you in getting rid of the fear of coding, because now coding has become a lot easier. I would say your confidence would be high from the start itself. You just need to know the structure, how code is written, what are the different architecturally what you need to know. For example, if you are creating a Java application, how do you want to architect it? That is something which you would which you should know. Obviously, ChatGPT can help you in that regard also. For example, the APIs, they start with controller, then you have a repository layer for the data part. You have service layer for the logic part. You have you know entity for the mapping of object to your table. Okay, so that is something which you should know. Okay, so which will help you in understanding an existing uh, code written also, because when you're working in an organization, you a lot of times you would have legacy code, so you would also need to understand that code. Okay, so we'll talk more about it, how things have changed in the coming lectures. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.